Good evening, everybody. This is a 6:45 interview before the Ways and Means Committee. My name is Brandon Robbins. I am the clerk of the committee, and Councilor Pauline Cormier is the third member. Mr. Vowles, if you would come up to the table. Thanks for coming out tonight on this pretty cold night. If you want to check and make sure that microphone is actually on.
Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on the Doyle Field Commission.
Sure. My name is Edward Vowles. I've been a lifelong Leominster resident. I'm currently employed by Leominster DPW. My job is to oversee and maintain Doyle Field at the present time. The reason I'd like to be on this committee is because Doyle Field means a lot to me. I take a lot of pride in it. It's just, a jewel of the city. And I have nothing but the best interest for Doyle Field in mind. I was honored when Mark and Gilly asked me to be part of it. And I look forward to doing the best I can to continue having Doyle Field look the way it does.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that brief overview. And thanks for all of your hard work already on Doyle Field. As the son of a former DPW employee, you guys mean a lot to me, so thanks for everything that you do. I don't really have any questions other than to say thanks for your willingness to serve in this capacity. And I will toss it over to the third member of the Ways and Means Committee to see if she has any questions or comments.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Pauline. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Any big plans? Any big adjustments going on over there? Any big?
Probably the next big thing to do is replace the turf.
Okay.
It's past its life expectancy.
Oh, wow.
We've gotten extra years out of it. It's still in great shape considering, but that's because of the care we take, for it.
Okay.
But that's probably the next big thing.
Big project?
Yeah.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Any other members of the council? I'll go to Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr and then Councilor Bonanza.
Thank you very much for coming down. Now, do I see you driving around over by the baseball field?
That's probably accurate. I mean, I'm there quite often.
Okay, all right. No, because I walk at Doyle Field a lot.
Sure.
So, I've seen you, I think, taking really good care of that baseball field. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's really, really nice. So thank you so much, for stepping up and volunteering to be on the Doyle Field Commission. It's a really important city asset. And I certainly will speak for myself, just absolutely love it and love the way that it looks and really appreciate the care that people take of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Councilor Bonanza.
Yes, good evening, Ed. Nice to see you. For the public, I am a Doyle Field Commissioner along with the chair, who's Gilbert Donatelli. For years, the DPW has had somebody who has done the day-to-day activities for the Doyle Field Commission, managing the field, managing the schedule, managing the maintenance and all of that. And for years it was Pat LaPointe, and after Pat stepped down, you took over, Ed.
Correct.
So I've had the pleasure of working with Ed now for, I'm thinking it's a good 3 or 4 years,
Yeah,
right?
pretty close to 4 now, probably.
Yeah. So I have a sort of firsthand knowledge of his abilities and his dedication to the field, and we've been really lucky to have Ed's guidance on a lot of different issues. And at one point, Pat was a commissioner as well, was a Doyle Field commissioner, and so I see this sort of as a continuation of that sort of process, and it would be good to have Ed aboard. Of course, this is mixed emotions to me. No offense to you, Ed, but you're replacing a dear friend of mine on the commission who you had an opportunity to work with as well, and Peter Angelini. But I'm looking forward to supporting your confirmation this evening, and just want to publicly thank you for all you do for Doyle Field, and we're looking forward to having you as an official member of the commission.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Any other members of the council? Councilor Romero? Yeah.
Hi, I met you the other day.
Hi, yes, you did. I hope you enjoyed the pizza. So I just wanted to say thank you again for your willingness, you've heard this already, to serve. And additionally, just again, as a resident, as a person who uses Doyle Field, my son is an avid soccer player. I just want to, again, commend DPW for the amazing care that they provide to Doyle Field. It is truly a community-based location where folks of all ethnicities come out to enjoy it. So you keep it clean, you keep it just up to date, safe, and I really just want to, extend my gratitude to you and to the other folks
Thank you.
for the work that you do.
Annie, Council President.
No question, just probably the same comments. We're very lucky in Leominster to have such a dedicated group of people that really care about that field. I mean, it's so evident, everybody treats it like it's their front lawn, and make sure it's sparkling all the time. And we've got such a good reputation from a lot of the other high schools in the area that, they can't wait to come here and they can't believe what we have. So it's a real credit to everybody that's been serving on there for a long time. So thank you for what you've done in the past and what you're going to be doing in the future.
Thank you.
So thanks for stepping forward.
All right, so thanks again, Ed, for coming out this evening. Thank you for your willingness to serve in this capacity, as I said before. I think we are all set. I'm going to ask that once we start the meeting that the council president, if she'll move up your appointment vote to the front of the agenda, so you don't have to sit here all evening.
Great, because I got to go back to work for midnight.
I imagine so. We'll make quick work with your appointment. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You never know, you may want to stay.
Thanks, Madam President.
So Mark, I heard that they're made like during the World Cup games, and like a big screen. I think the Leominster Youth Center wanted to work with Littlefield to have like, I think they have like games going on, if they can have viewing centers or anything. Do you know anything about that? But I'm like excited. I'm like, I hope it happens.
We had gotten a pledge from all of them encouraging me to put in a new school to have room capacity. It's kind of stopped.
You did make it.
I did make it.
Debating whether or not it's a pretty expensive. It's not affordable.
Oh, wow.
Evening, Frank.
But it
It's a
has to-
fine evening, nice and warm.
I'll take some of it. Because you can get a lot of back advertising revenue. Yeah. But you put, the big thing on was we replaced the lights. So those lights, like 6 years, it was like a million year old. 6 years.
Oh, wow.
600 or 700 million. Well, it cost $1.2 million when we did it, about 15 years ago, but it really is expensive.
I'm chilly, Frank.
I'm cold. Huge, it's a big hole.
I'll be cold now until June.
The carpet itself back then was $500. Today,
Thank goodness, it looks like the snowstorm is gonna miss
they're
us.
supposed to last.
Yes.
10 years.
So, I was just in a meeting, Elizabeth, I was just in a meeting with your old haunts, Mike Ellis.
Oh,
You know
yeah?
Mike Ellis?
Yeah.
Huh?
I haven't seen Mike and Adrian.
Yeah.
Other sports.
I haven't seen him in ages either. He's lost about 100 and some odd pounds.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's really,
He's still with the Gardner Club?
They had.
I don't know, I didn't ask him. He's with the, Council on Aging in Gardner, so that's what he's doing now.
Very nice gentleman.
His daughter was teaching in
And they were
St. Anne's.
And they had.
Huh?
His daughter was teaching in St. Anne's.
Oh, yes, I met her a few years ago through the Rotary. Made a donation to one of their programs, you know?
This is great, you know,
And she reminded me she was Mike Ellis's daughter, you know?
Good evening. We're now going to hold a public forum. Public forum is an opportunity for any member of the audience to speak on any matter specifically listed on the council agenda. Speakers will be asked to come to the microphone, state their formal name and address, along with identifying the specific item they wish to address. Each speaker is respectfully asked to keep their comments within a 2-minute time frame. The council will not be responding or answering any questions. However, at the discretion of the council president, clarification may be given. We do not have anyone signed up at this point. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council on anything on the agenda? Again, is there anyone that wishes to address the council? For the third time, is there anyone that wishes to address the council? If not, I'll declare the public hearing closed.
Thank you.
I got one more, Anthony's got his own. You got another calendar for me too, right?
Oh, you want me to put you on?
Well, you got one more, I didn't get the last one. Remember? That's all right.
Sorry, I'll get it to you.
Yeah, no, or if you want mine, that's gonna be mine. So
Okay.
you can put my name on that one.
I already did.
Oh, all right.
If you'd like to change them before they're gone, just let me
You said
know.
you get it. to me.
Okay.
You want me to fill it out for him? Just want me to put his name on a card and, you know.
I didn't know,
I can get the number of
because
the
the first
calendar.
time when Gina
I can
did
do
it,
that.
she did it right the way it does. But these are what everybody else
Just give me,
has.
send me his name.
Which is easier for us to
and
order.
I'll fill out the card for him.
Okay.
I'll bring you out the calendar. Okay?
Oh, he's got the calendar.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got the
He
calendar.
got the calendar. I just need the one missing.
Right,
Great, okay.
They're like, oh, do you want, and it's like, it's really fancy, and I'm like,
yeah.
I
Just
just
put my
need
name on
something to name and number it.
Yeah, you,
So that,
you do like I do there.
thank you, though.
Oh, you're welcome.
They look great.
Sell them to all my family.
Say that again?
The calendars, I sell them to all my family.
Oh,
Making them as a Christmas gift every year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that one's gonna go to, that's gonna go to February.
Are you gonna be in the office tomorrow?
Further time?
Of course. We're open, I'm here. Yeah,
I can come down and talk to you.
okay, yes.
Do we have time now on the, if you get the, publications in tomorrow?
7 days, has to be in the paper 7 days.
Okay, so we don't have enough time to get it in by tonight.
Okay, so we'll do the second meeting in February.
He contacted me today too, and I told him I would let him know tomorrow morning exactly what date and what time and all of that. Yeah,
So this will go further time to the meeting after, the second meeting in February.
should be the 23rd, I think. Yeah, 23rd.
Can I,
Mhm.
can I do a subcommittee meeting before, please?
On that day.
I don't know when David comes back. I don't know if I can do one before, subcommittee.
I, yeah,
I think it's a question of.
All right, what's
you
the,
all can
what's,
get together.
what's the Wednesday
You've got
before?
48 hours anyway, so we need.
All right, let me find out from David if the
Okay.
Wednesday night will work for him and, okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, I have one. I didn't find an old one, but I have another one, but I told her to close the vault and that's where it is. Okay.
I'm gonna have it now.
Yep,
Come out and start the meeting.
I got it.
So, short David?
David is supposed to be leaving for a cruise tomorrow morning.
Good evening.
He's at the
This is the regular meeting of the Leominster City Council, January 29th, 2026, postponed from January 26, 2026, due to weather conditions. Please rise and salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States
We'll now do a roll call of councilors in attendance. Vice President Pauline Cormier,
Present.
Councilor Frank Ardinger,
Here.
Present.
Councilor Eladia Romero,
Present.
Councilor Susan Shalhoub Zephyr,
Present.
Councilor Brandon Robbins,
Present.
Councilor Mark Bedanza,
Present.
and I'll be recorded as present. And I will go to the Vice President for the list of minutes.
Thank you, Madam President. I have the minutes and have reviewed the minutes for the following dates. We played a little catch-up. The first is from October 14th of 2025, October 27th of 2025, November 10th and November 24th of 2025, December 18th of 2025, and January 12th of 2026. These were submitted from the clerk. I have reviewed them all. I find them to be in good order. I have not heard from any of the other counselors regarding the minutes or any additions or subtractions. So I would ask that these be placed on record.
Okay. Is there anybody that has any questions or comments on any of the minutes that the Vice President just mentioned? Councilor Shalhoub?
I haven't had a chance to get through all of them, and I did not see them listed on the agenda, so I didn't think that we'd be voting on them tonight.
Okay,
I will leave it up to you, Madam President. I have reviewed them. I find them to be in good order. I would ask that they be placed on file.
has anybody else had a chance to look at the minutes?
I don't have any objection to being placed on file.
Okay.
I mean, I think we're at the point where if, we're
We're
way
so far
behind.
behind on them. I think
It's a problem.
that's the issue. We want to get them on. Is that okay? All right, they will be placed on file.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Communications from the mayor.
Dean J. Mazzarella Mayor requests that the City Council vote to remove Bill Charpentier and Peter Angelini from the School Building Committee for Fallbrook Elementary School and approve Arthur Ebthal, sorry if I said his name wrong, to the membership of the School Building Committee for Fallbrook Elementary School.
Okay, C-39 will be referred to the Ways and Means Committee. That will go to Councilor Robbins for tonight.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please.
Regular course. C-40.
Sorry. Dean J. Mazzarella Mayor requests the appointment of the following to the Disability Commission, term to expire April 15th, 2029. Elizabeth Miservi of 66 Ellen Street, Leominster.
Again, this is referred to Ways and Means.
Regular course, Madam President, and I'd like to set up an interview for our February 9th, I believe, meeting at whatever time the clerk suggests.
I will reach out and
Thank you.
Check with them.
Yeah.
Okay. C-41.
Dean J. Mazzarella Mayor requests that an appropriation of $8,000 be made to the Twin Cities Rail Trail Great account, the same amount to be transferred from the Twin City Rail Trail lease account.
C-41 will be referred to the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. C-41, regular course, please.
Okay, C-41 has been given regular course. C-42.
Dean J. Mazzarella Mayor requests that an appropriation of $250,000 be made to the Police Department overtime account, the same to be transferred from the stabilization fund.
The C-42 is referred to the Finance Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. First time on the calendar, regular course, please.
Okay, C-42 has been given regular course. C-43.
Dean J. Mazzarella Mayor requests that an appropriation of $15,000 be made to the Wire Department overtime account, the same amount to be transferred from the stabilization fund.
Okay, C-43 will be referred to the Finance Chair.
Okay, thank you. Once again, first time on the calendar, regular course.
Okay, C-43 has been given regular course. Petitions, first time on the agenda.
3226, this is an emergency preamble. Claire M. Frieda requests that the City Council vote to approve Diane Reardon as the interim Assistant City Clerk.
Okay, 32-26. I'm going to explain this a little bit. As we all know, Maribel Perez, who was our assistant clerk and spent over 20 years serving in that office, in the city clerk's office, decided to retire, and we wish her well in the future. So we are without an assistant clerk at the moment, and we are also understaffed. An emergency preamble is something that, and nobody yelled louder than me over the years about using this in a way that we shouldn't use it. An emergency is supposed to be that for the health, welfare, or the safety of the community. It's the only vehicle we have that would allow us to vote on something tonight so that we can get action right away and approve Diane Reardon as an interim assistant city clerk so that she can start working to help the clerk immediately. It's an interim position. And as we've noticed for the public, as we've noticed on all the petitions we just talked about, we used regular course. The purpose of that is so that people will have 2 weeks to know what we're talking about. And if they have any comments or questions about anything that we're doing here, they can come in before the next meeting, speak at the podium on whatever's on the agenda, and have that opportunity. That's why an emergency preamble is really the only vehicle we have to be able to vote on something tonight, to be able to use it. The council will have to vote to support the emergency preamble so that we can approve bringing Diane Reardon in as an assistant city clerk so that she can start working immediately to help the clerk in that office. So with that, I am going to refer the emergency preamble to Councilor Robbins, who is filling in as the chair of Ways and Means tonight.
Thank you, Madam President. You just gave the explanation, so I'm just going to give the recommendation, or my portion of the recommendation, and suggest that we accept the emergency preamble, and I'd ask that you check with the other member of my committee.
I agree.
Okay, so we have a unanimous decision for emergency preamble. So, I'm sorry, Councilor Shalfo.
Yeah, no, I just have a question. So I didn't get a copy of the petition. Is there a petition with, like, her resume or anything attached that was
No,
filed?
there isn't. I kind of felt that we all knew her, and she had applied here before and she worked here.
Right.
So that was kind of where she was an interim.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of figured we all pretty much knew who she was.
Mm-hmm.
So my fault. I did forward something to Councilor Romero because she didn't know her, so I
Yeah, Councilor
apologize.
Noseworthy, I don't think I'd know her either.
I'm sorry?
The Ward 5 councilor wouldn't know her either.
I don't
No,
know
and,
I don't know her in and out either, but.
yeah, well, you don't get a vote on
Yeah,
it.
As I said, I'm okay with that.
Right.
So, well, that's, you'll have to make the decision whether you support that or not at this point. We have a unanimous decision at that to Councilor Romero.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I did forward the resume of Ms. Reardon to Councilor Noseworthy.
Oh,
so
okay.
that she had it prior to the meeting. I know she's not here today, but she should have hopefully had an opportunity to review it.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
So just to clarify, we're voting right now to accept the emergency preamble.
Right, exactly. I'm going
Okay.
to do a roll call on that.
Okay.
So, Councilor Cormier,
Yay.
Councilor Arndt,
Yay.
Councilor Romero,
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr,
Yay.
Councilor Robbins,
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza,
Yay.
and I will be recorded as yay. So now I will refer the hiring of the assistant clerk for what we're looking at is a possible of 3 month term and that the calculations of her salary are based on what Maribel Perez was getting. It's broken down per hour, so that will be the salary that she will be receiving. And I'm going to add that we're be very lucky that it just happened to be a former assistant clerk in Leominster that retired, that was available, that would come in for a couple of days to work, you know, that could, without jeopardizing her retirement. So we're very fortunate that we have that, and she can come right in and start doing the job without the clerk having to spend time teaching her or directing her. So it should be helpful for all of us. So with that, I'll refer that right back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. So again, this is 32-26. Claire, I'm free to request the City Council vote to approve Diane Reardon as the interim Assistant City Clerk. As the Council President, explained earlier, we have been without an assistant city clerk for a couple of months now, and the office is definitely understaffed, having paid my plenty of visits there during the day and seeing them all running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I think, just in the future, it would be helpful to have a resume more for the public than for me, because I had the opportunity to interview Ms. Reardon. But all of that aside, I do really believe that we need to get somebody in the office in the short term so that we can kind of get back on track. So seeing such, my recommendation is that we approve the interim hiring of Diane Reardon as the Assistant City Clerk, and I'd ask that you check with the other member of the committee.
Okay, Councilor Cormier?
I agree.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr?
I have a question. I think during some comments that you were making, you said that in addition to being without an assistant city clerk, the office is also understaffed. Who else is missing? I mean, have we had other people leave recently? I thought that we were
Is there one
staffed
more?
except
I thought there
for...
was one more that we didn't have in there.
No.
No?
They're
Okay, all right.
Okay, so it's the assistant clerk position that is the one and only that's missing in the office. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
just wanted to clarify.
And then the other thing as well, I spoke with Wendy Hurley prior to mentioning Diane coming in, and we also went through Jen Reddington to figure out the salary, and also checked with the mayor's office. So everybody was on board with getting that staffed quickly. And this will give us the opportunity to take the time and see what we really need in that office for the clerk, assistant clerk's position, and kind of look at the job description again, as we move forward. Councilor Romero.
I do have a couple of questions, Madam President, getting used to calling you that, sorry. So just for clarification purposes, have we set a time frame for this? Like, is the contract going to be for a set period of time? I know that we've had potentially a discussion.
3 months.
3 months,
Yeah.
okay. So
That's a maximum of 3 months at this point.
a max of 3 months. Okay, perfect. And then, and I don't know if this is the time that we discuss this, but the process, is there going to be a process where, in terms of hiring an actual assistant
Yes.
city clerk
That-
throughout that
that'll-
period of time?
That'll
Yes.
be the next step. The clerk, Wendy Hurley, and myself will get together and start the process on a job description and figure out, and then I'll put a committee together and look at some of the interviews.
Fantastic. And although Elizabeth doesn't have, she's not voting today, I just want to know, is it possible to share the resume with her as well, just so that she's familiar
Oh,
with?
she
Do you
has-
have it?
You don't have your resume? Okay, I thought it was there because she was in that position before, so, all right, we'll get that to you.
And I guess I would take this opportunity, I don't know if it's possible, like, to ask if Elizabeth has any questions or any additional information that might be needed?
I had this conversation with Elizabeth earlier
Okay.
before I spoke to everyone necessary to get us to this point.
Yep.
you know, so that we could fill that spot.
Yep.
So, I mean, as far as the next step, I mean, we're not there yet. This was to get somebody in there now.
Yep.
I mean, Councilor Cormier has been going in and helping out on occasion, just because it's been back. We looked at the list of minutes tonight, you know. It's, there's just so many hours in a day for the clerk to be able to do a lot of this work, so.
Right, thank you.
I'll just briefly add on the point that the council president made. When I saw this on the agenda, I also had a conversation with the clerk. Everybody here knows that they applied for the same job at the same time, and I just wanted to make sure that there was a comfortability with that. The clerk made it clear to me that, you know, she's the clerk, and if there are issues, she would bring them to the city council, which is, I think, exactly what we would all expect. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for that clarification. Appreciate it. Thanks, Claire.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yeah, you did sort of already mention this, but I see this as a twofold benefit. Obviously, to get help in there is necessary, but we can have a more determined and more careful process in terms of hiring a new assistant clerk, which gives us some latitude to do that. So this makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? If not, we'll do this a roll call again. Councilor Vice President Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Odinger?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yay?
And I'll be recorded as yay. Okay, matters before the council. Financial report.
Yes, Madam President.
Madam President, sorry. Would you mind bumping up the
Oh, I'm
appointments?
sorry, we did say we were gonna do that. I apologize. I will go to the Chair of Ways and Means to take up,
C-37.
C37.
C37. Edward Bowles, 81 Miriam Avenue, Leominster, for a position as a commissioner on the Doyle Field Commission.
Thank you, Madam President. As you just said, this is C37. Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the appointment of the following: Ed Vowles, 81 Merriam Ave, Leominster, Mass., for the Doyle Field Commission, term to expire 4/15/2029. Mr. Vowles came down earlier this evening and had an interview with the Ways and Means Committee, and explained his current job working down at Doyle Field, and how being on the Doyle Field Commission just seems like a natural continuation of his work during the day. So with that all said, I would recommend that we appoint Mr. Vowles to the Doyle Field Commission, and I would ask that you check with the other member of the committee.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have unanimous decision of the Ways and Means Committee. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'm going to do this by roll call as well. Councilor Vice President?
Yay.
Councilor Odinger?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yay?
And I'll be recorded as yay.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now go get some sleep.
I know.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, back to the Chair of Finance.
Very well. Thank you, Madam President. I have three accounts to report on. First is the opioid stabilization fund. We began the fiscal year with a balance of $577,546. We added a payment of $159,226 for a resulting balance of $736,772 during the course of the fiscal year, from the 14th of July through the 24th of January. We expended $249,371, leaving a current balance of $487,401. To the Capital Stabilization Fund, we began the fiscal year with $4,593,192. We had one payment during the course of the year, $2,261,190, which I believe was to meet the some debt for the police station. leaving a current balance of $2,332,002. Moving to the stabilization fund, we began the fiscal year with $24,323,829. We added interest of $257,859 for a resulting balance of $24,581,689. We have expended or plan to expend proposed expenditures of $2,991,902 for a resulting balance of $21,589,786. I did speak with the comptroller the end of last week just for an update on free cash. I wasn't expecting that it'd be certified yet. It's still pending. Probably be the end of February before we have any word on that, but I did check, and that is the financial report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair to the finance chair. I'm looking at the stabilization fund activity, and the last two, C-42 and C-43, I think they're on the agenda for the first time tonight, right?
That's correct.
So the date, usually, isn't that the date that we pass it, that we pass the communication? The date here is 1/27/25, so we won't be doing.
They always put, as soon as they're proposed, they sort of encumber the funds,
Okay.
and they put them on the account. So you'll often hear me or prior finance chairs say, if we approve, what we spent and what we could approve
Yep.
is the balance of $291,902,000, I'm sorry, $902. Yeah, we'd have to subtract from that, there's what, there are several, actually. There's C-33,
Mhm.
6,500, which is before us tonight. C-34,
Right.
250,000 before us tonight. C-35, $50,000, which I believe is before us tonight. And C-36 for $35,000 before us tonight. And then there's another $265,000, which potentially will be before us on February 9th. But like I said, they sort of encumber them. So that's, assuming all are passed, we will have spent this fiscal year that $2,991,902.
Right, I'm just confused about the dates, because in looking at C-33, for example, which is coming up, it's not date stamped. It's dated January 7th, the letter is dated January 7th, the list says January 9th, and we're actually passing the communication tonight. So, because I was the one that had asked, there weren't any dates here, and I had asked for the comptroller to put the dates in, because I always use this as a check. I mean, it's confusing to me. So I guess my question would be, can we decide on what that date is going to be? Is it the date it comes into the clerk's office and gets date stamped? Is it the date that the city council actually passes the communication? Is it the date that the letter or the request is dated? It's just confusing. I think consistency would be helpful.
It should be the date stamp, because
Right,
they've
I
always.
agree with that.
They've
Yeah.
always been listed on the accounting before we actually vote on it. They always
Right.
have been. So I can mention to the comptroller, it would be helpful to just, and the clerk's office,
Right.
to put them as the date that they come in.
Can I?
Yeah.
I don't know this, I was trying to look it up while you were
Sure.
talking. It may be the date that the mayor actually has her do up the communication. I'm not sure either, but if you need it timestamped,
Right, but, his letter is the communication, right?
Right.
So in the case of C-33, it's dated January 7th. And on here, it's dated
the night.
January 9th. So that would be really helpful, and then there'd be no confusion, because, okay, it's the date, it's stamped, and everybody can just look at that, so you'll.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
have no problem with mentioning that to her.
Okay, good.
I
It
mean-
would just help me, because I want to know what those dates represent.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I
Okay.
mean, there's no confusion to me what we're talking about. I mean, the money, the $6,500, for example, in C-33
No,
is for a
it's-
particular thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess there's 2 days difference between the date on the accounting, the date that the mayor's letter bears. But I don't have a problem with it.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Yep, that would help.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, so I'm ready to report on C-33 then, Madam President. C-33, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requested an appropriation of $6,500 be made to the Planning Department expense account, same amount to be funded from the stabilization account. The Planning Department is down a staff member for FMLA, and they're going to hire an Assistant Planning and Development Director, former Fitchburg Planning Office employee, Mr. O'Hara, for 10 weeks, 10 hours a week at $50 an hour with no benefits, and that's what this money is for. At our subcommittee meeting, the unanimous recommendation, Madam President, was 3-0 to grant C-33.
Okay, and you had your subcommittee
Yes.
meeting?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all this has been
Right.
determined?
Yeah, the
so-
recommendation of the subcommittee is 3-0,
Okay,
unanimous to grant C-33.
perfect. All right, any other questions or comments? Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Mr. O'Hara was covering in the planning office when the planning director was out on maternity leave, and I had a couple of interactions with him. He was excellent, really
Excellent, yep.
helpful, very knowledgeable, so
Yep.
it's a very good interim hire.
I agree, yep.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions or comments? Councilor Romero.
Just for future purposes, when we are being asked to vote on these interim appointments, it would be very helpful if we could get, especially for some of us that are not familiar with these individuals, if we could get resumes, just so that we can see who it is that we're approving. But in this particular case, again, I mean, I'm not bringing up an issue, but just asking for future reference.
We could, but essentially, we're voting on the funding for it. The planning department does their own
Okay.
hiring and their own interim. We don't have a say in that.
Oh, okay.
So we're just approving the funding that they need to do that.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clarification.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-33 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Does the chair have an order?
I do, Madam President. Order that the sum of $6,500 be appropriated to the Planning Department expense account, same to be transferred from the stabilization fund. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. This will be a roll call vote. Councilor Vice President Cormier.
Yay?
Councilor Anger.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay?
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay?
That will be recorded as yay. Vote is 7-0.
Moving on to C-34, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requesting an appropriation of $250,000 be made to the Fire Department Public Safety Overtime Account, the same amount to be transferred from the Stabilization Fund. This is fairly routine for us with respect to staffing issues. We obviously run a little short sometimes based on contractual obligations, based on duty, injury coverage, based on military activation, residential fires, and mutual aid. The fire chief has asked for an additional $250,000. The mayor has supported it by a communication. We did meet during our subcommittee meeting, and we recommend to the full council by a vote of 3-0 unanimous that the council grant C-34.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the recommendation. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of C-34 signify in the usual manner. Okay, 7-0. Those opposed? Okay. Does the chair have an order?
I do. Order that sum of $250,000 be appropriated to the Fire Department Public Safety Overtime Account, same amount to be transferred from the Stabilization Fund. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, this will be roll call. Vice President Cormier?
Yay?
Councilor Anger?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yay?
And I will be recorded as yay. I have voted 7-0. The order is approved. C-35.
Moving on to C-35, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requesting an appropriation of $50,000 to be made to the paramedic overtime account, the same amount to be transferred from the stabilization fund. This is, again, to cover shortfalls in terms of operational costs and expenses. We have a complement of 7 paramedics. The chief would like to have 8. However, the city, I did, as a result of our subcommittee meeting, talk to the comptroller about this. And the city is very remiss to add people. We run on a very tight budget. Unlike, the state or federal government, we can't either print money or deficit spend. And there's limits as to what we can do in terms of appropriation or taxation. So the city is very reticent about adding people. So the decision has been, from a budgetary standpoint, not to commit to an eighth paramedic, at least at this point. It's something they'd like to look at in the future. But even that, the comptroller says, even with an 8th paramedic, we would still be seeing overtime costs as a result of normal operational things. So during our subcommittee meeting, we had 2 commitments to grant C-35, and I believe one member of the committee was still not quite committed to that yet.
Through the chair to the finance chair, I had a question.
Yes.
And the question, did you get a chance to ask the comptroller?
I believe the question was whether they were going to add the 8th paramedic or not.
I-
Oh, and you also, I'm sorry, you
How many
also
more, how
asked
many more appropriations? How much
probably
overtime are
about
they
4
expecting?
more.
4 more?
Yes.
But for the end of the fiscal year, $50,000 a month?
That's what she indicated to me.
Wow. And the argument is that they're saving money by spending that kind of overtime?
Well, of course, a lot of this stuff is billed out, for ambulances, and, unlike a lot of other communities around here, we have a paramedic on just about every run,
Right.
which is a huge benefit to our community,
No question.
and it costs. So, yeah, that's what she indicated to me.
4 more requests for $50,000, not including this.
What she is sort of projecting.
Right, oh, I know, I
Yeah.
understand that, I understand that. That answers the question, 4 more, $200,000 more in addition to the $50,000 that we have on the agenda tonight. Thank you, that was the question.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that,
okay.
but I did get the answer to it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So, are you supporting it, or?
No.
Okay, so we have a
I
2-1
think that's great.
recommendation, Madam President.
Okay. Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the finance chair. Are there any other questions? Councilor Robbins?
I'm just going to share my sentiments that I have shared consistently with regard to this petition, or this sort of request with regard to the paramedic position. I really think that we would be better off just hiring that one position, especially with regards to the mental and physical taxation on such a small pool to pull those overtime hours from. So I'm not going to support this.
Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr?
Before the vote, I just want to make sure that, I want to be very specific that I support all of the hard work that the fire department does. I support the chief. I think he's doing an excellent job. I think having the 2 ambulances, having those paramedics, has been a tremendous service to the people in the city of Leominster. There's a policy disagreement about how best to support that service. And to the council to my left's point, I think that's also part of the equation here is, it's the overtime, additional overtime money, but it's also the wear and tear on the people, the 7 people that are doing a very hard and difficult job for 8 people. So I just wanted to be really clear about my support for the fire department and for the paramedics and for the ambulances. I was advocating years ago for a second ambulance before we ever had one. So with that said, I won't be supporting it.
Might I remind my fellow councilors that this requires a 2/3 vote? So if we
And
don't,
it's also 2/3 vote of the full
Body.
council,
right.
not just those that are present.
So a failure for this to pass means that we're not going to be able to operate that ambulance or those ambulances with paramedics because there won't be enough money in the budget.
Can I, Council
Councilor
President,
Romero.
can I ask a question as well? Just again, just for clarification purposes, you, Councilor Berdanza, you mentioned that the Chief Sidlow actually has requested that additional position, or he would like that additional position.
Yes, yes.
And you've indicated that the comptroller has stated that we're not in the position currently to be able to, you know, make that happen a reality. So my question is just, is there a process by which we can determine at what point maybe we might be able to fulfill that request from the chief?
It's a budgetary thing. I mean, at the bottom line is, look, we'd love to do that, but at the end of the day, we send people tax bills. They
Right.
can't, some of our seniors especially, can't afford these tax bills. So there's a limit as to what we can do. And the city has always towed the line about adding people, because when you add people, you don't just add wages. You add all kinds of fringe benefits, which the city has taken the position with the fire department, with the police department, and now with the paramedics, that it is cheaper for us to pay overtime than to add people. So when they add people, whatever department it is, whether it's the DPW, the fire department, even the library, they're very reticent about adding full-time people to staffs because of those budgetary expenses. So I wholeheartedly support this, because I believe we are, as a community, very fortunate to have the fire chief we have had the guidance that we've had to establish the paramedic program, to send those paramedics out on these calls, giving people advanced life support at the ambulance.
Right.
And the last thing I want to see happen is to jeopardize that in
Right,
any
and just-
fashion.
Yeah, and just to, you know, follow up, and again, I appreciate that clarification as a newer counselor. It's, you know, I'm trying to, again, once again, understand how, as you said, if they're gonna be asking for $200,000, how that is more fiscally responsible than actually hiring someone. So I'm just, again, trying to get some information on that. I'm not disputing the fact that this is really important. This is, I mean, it's a requirement for our community. I'm asking for additional information, so.
I'd suggest you go meet with the fire chief
I-
and ask him about the operation of the
I,
ambulance.
that is part of he's on my list of
Yeah.
folks to meet with, so that will be happening. So again, I appreciate the clarification, and I appreciate your advocacy.
No worries.
All right, Councilor Andrews next.
If we don't approve this tonight, that means that there's one shift going to be uncovered during every course, okay, every day. And that could, you know, cause somebody's life to be lost because we don't have that paramedic on that one shift. So I think this is not only a financial situation, I think it's a safety situation. And we need to have that paramedic on. And this $50,000, you know, is not going to kill us. We all want the extra paramedic, and we can make our thoughts known and see if the fire chief can't work it into his budget. Now, he has promised us, hasn't promised us, but is committed to telling us that that ambulance service will run at a zero net cost to the city overall. So we're going to have money coming back through the ambulance reimbursements. We don't see that, but it's coming back somehow. And this may be a wash in the long term, but I don't want to put somebody's life at risk by not having that paramedic available.
Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr.
Thank you. I take the point made by the finance chair, and because we are short tonight of a couple of people, I will support this so that it will pass, because I think that that's a responsible thing to do. I will not support it in the future, though, because if the projections are maybe more conservative, and if they come in lower, and if it all makes sense, we're getting into budget season, so we'll be having a conversation. But the fire chief, when he comes down, he puts it in his budget, I think, every year, and it just doesn't make it.
I
you know,
will
through the
suggest to
process.
the finance chair to have Jen Reddington and the fire chief come in next meeting. We do have new counselors, and it would be helpful for them and for the seasoned counselors to be able to ask some of these questions. So we could do that either at a subcommittee meeting, to either do that, or before the next meeting.
Okay.
Councilor Robbins.
Thank you, Madam President. Just one more time for clarity's sake. So this requires a 2/3 vote of the entire council, not members present.
6 votes it will take.
Okay, seeing such, I will take the tact of the counselor at large to my right and support it again here tonight, because I very much hear the concerns about having an empty shift and somebody's life being on the line, and I'm not going to have that on my conscience. But I do strongly believe in the premise of having that 8th paramedic on staff, because I find the math hard that the extra, the fringe benefits, the health insurance, that kind of stuff is more expensive than, $50,000 a month in overtime cost. And I understand.
Just be mindful that some of this overtime is systemic. So whether you have
Absolutely, we're gonna have
7 or
some.
8, you're gonna have overtime.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like we could be saving some of that, some portion of that with a permanent position. And that's just my belief on this one. Thank
We'll
you.
get an answer from the fire chief when the chair brings him in. I think that's the best way to handle it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, we have are you changing your 2-to-1 vote for the
Yeah,
subcommittee as well?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so we have a unanimous
Recommendation.
recommendation from the finance committee.
Never mind. Yep,
You good?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. All right, so we have a unanimous decision. Any other questions or comments? Not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, so the vote is 7-0. Does the chair have an order?
I do. Order the sum of $50,000 be appropriated to the paramedics overtime account, the same amount to be transferred from the stabilization fund. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you heard the chairman's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, this will be roll call. Vice President Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Ardner.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
And I will be recorded as yay. And I'll just credit the two councilors for seeing the importance of passing this tonight with the amount of people that we have here. So I think that's the way we're supposed to do business, I think, and look at the big picture, even though sometimes we might disagree. So, all right, so we're all set. We can pass that order.
Right.
C-36.
C-36, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the appropriation of $35,000 be made to the city clerk postage account, same amount to be transferred from the stabilization fund. This is regarding first-class postage to mail out the 2026 census. We did take this one up as well in subcommittee last week, and the result was a recommendation unanimous 3-0 to grant C-36.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Are there any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, vote is 7-0. Mr. Chairman, do you
Yes.
have an order?
Yes, order the sum of $35,000 be appropriated to the city clerk postage account, same to be transferred from the stabilization fund. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chairman's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, this will be roll call. Vice President Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Ardner.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
And I'll be recorded as yay. By a 7-0 vote, the order is accepted. C-38.
C-38, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the remaining balance of $8,004.37 from the Johnny Appleseed 250th celebration be transferred to the 250th celebration of America. This is some money that was left over from our 2024 Johnny Appleseed celebration. Mayor wants to use it for various events to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday this year. We brought this before the subcommittee. The unanimous recommendation of the subcommittee was to grant C-38. Council Shalfo's effort did want an accounting of the $8,004 balance from the Johnny Appleseed 250th, which the comptroller did produce, and that was distributed by the city clerk to the council. So it would be our position, the Finance Committee's position, to grant C-38.
Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr.
Yep, thank you through the chair. Thank you very much. I did get the accounting, and that was really helpful. You know what I think would be helpful, might be helpful to other people, including the public, is what is the plan, what's being planned for the 250th celebration of America. You know, this $8,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but, you know, it's going to be spent on some kinds of activities, and I think that that would be helpful. So if the mayor wants to come down, you know, and bring
Yeah.
his team, it would be, I would be personally interested, and I think also the public would be interested in knowing, you know, what the planning is at this point and where it's going.
I
Yeah.
think he'd have to tell us before he spend the money anyway. We're transferring to another account, but we'll still have to approve the expenditures.
I'm sure he'd be pleased to come down and talk about it. I think last time I talked to him, which was a few weeks ago, it's evolving. I think generally he's talking about, I know one thing that he was talking about was to sort of cooperate with Fitchburg in a 4th of July parade rather than do a separate one or compete with them. And he's talking about sort of spicing up existing events, like doing extra things for Starburst or other, you know, events that we already have. But I think he's very much open to ideas, so if anybody on the council or
Absolutely.
anybody who's watching this evening has an idea, you know, solicit the mayor with it, and I'm sure he'd be happy to come down once he's got a little bit more cemented with this and explain to us and the public what he wants to do.
Absolutely, I think that would be helpful.
So,
And
good
generate
point.
interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, further recommendation, any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, 7-0 vote. Does the chair have an order?
Yes, ordered that the sum of $8,004.37 be appropriated to the 250th Celebration of America account from the, transferred from the Johnny Appleseed 250th Celebration account. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, this will be a roll call vote. Council Vice President Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Arndinger?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bonanza?
Yay?
And I will be recorded as yay. By a 7-0 vote, the order is approved. 29-26.
29-26, Gregory C. Chapdelaine, Purchasing Agent, request to enter into a contract for information technology managed services for the school department for a 6-year period. This is in preparation for the next services contract that the city will be bidding out this year, sometime in February or March. The current contract will expire in June. We have 2 of these on. It's for IT services, this one for the school department. We have one coming up right after this for the city, again, for IT services. As the city council president told us the last time, we are precluded as a city without council authorization from entering into a contract for more than 3 years. So thus, under the statute, the purchasing agent needs our authority to enter into a contract of this length. It's been his position in the past, and it's been supported by the council, that they get a better bargain on a longer-term contract, and they have less administrative costs in administering it in terms of all the administration that has to go along with it, preparing bids and reviewing bids, et cetera. So we did bring this before committee, Madam President, and it was unanimous recommendation from the Finance Committee to support 29-26.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Vote is 7-0. Mr. Chairman, do you have an order?
I don't think these actually have an order.
You're right, they don't. Just an approval.
Yep.
Okay. All right, 31-26.
31-26, Gregory C. Chapdelaine, Purchasing Agent, request to enter into a contract for information technology managed services for the city for a 6-year period. This is in preparation for the next services contract that the city will be bidding out this year, sometime in February or March. The current contract will expire this June. Similarly to 29-26, this is just the city side of the same services. And again, we had this before our committee, subcommittee meeting, and our recommendation as a subcommittee was to grant 31-26.
Okay, you've heard the chairman's recommendation. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor indicate in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, approved by 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having the subcommittee meeting. It was attended by everyone.
Yes.
I think it really clarified a lot of issues and changed the scope of the meeting a little bit, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, Ways and Means, we're all set there, we've moved that up. We'll go to Legal Affairs, 3-26.
Thank you, Madam President. 3-26, Glenn Eaton, Executive Director, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission. Request to amend the zoning ordinance to replace Article 15, accessory apartments, with a new Article 15 that complies with recently passed state law and to make other changes to implement the new ordinance. As a result of us postponing this meeting, I'm going to request that we give this matter further time, and we set this up for the second meeting in February. That would be my recommendation.
February 23rd.
Do we have a time?
We can do any time, there's nothing.
All right, so let's do 6:30, because we have subcommittee meetings ahead of time. Okay, you heard the chairman's recommendation for the time. February 23rd at 6:30. So we have to vote for further time, and we have to vote for the hearing. I mean, for the,
For the date.
for the date.
Just to be clear, this is a brand-new public hearing, so we're starting anew,
Right.
correct?
Right.
And that will have to be advertised
Correct.
as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is why we went to the 23rd.
right.
I guess I'm confused. Through the chair to the Legal Affairs Chair, we're starting a new public hearing.
Correct.
Because, I'm sorry, because the postponed meeting that was going to be on Tuesday was not posted, now it requires the public hearings have to start over.
All of them have to
Well,
start
They
over.
have to start over, so.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Doesn't mean we have to abandon all the good work we did during the subcommittee meeting,
Right.
but we do have to,
Right,
Have
just
to give the
remember,
opportunity.
just remember it all.
we're close. Have no fear.
So, through the chair to the Legal Affairs Chair, so we have a public hearing at that meeting. The amendments are made, the ones that we discussed at the Legal Affairs Committee meeting, and then we could vote on it that night
Correct.
to get
Yes.
it done. Okay, good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we had to push it out to the 23rd, so there'd be ample time for the legal
For the
notice.
notice.
Okay.
Okay, so all those in favor of further time with a hearing date of February 23rd at 6:30, signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay. 25-26.
This is 25-26, Attorney Jeffrey Avini, Dombrowski, Avini, and Bonnell. PC requests to amend Section 22-17 as to the underlying zoning districts table of uses for the City of Leominster zoning ordinance as amended and under the business uses table of uses in the multi-use MU1 underlying zoning districts, and change the use so designated as self-storage from N not allowed to Special Permit Planning Board, SPPB, Planning Board Special Permit required. Pursuant to the City of Leominster zoning ordinance, self-storage is characterized as a business use, but is only allowed in the industrial zoning district. This similar situation as the last matter, we're going to need to give this further time to start the public hearing over again. And again, I'm going to be requesting that February 23rd date, perhaps at 6:35.
You've heard the legal chair's recommendation. Now I have a question coming.
Yep, I'm just confused again. Is this because the time for the public hearings has expired? What, are we starting a new public hearing for this one?
Yes.
The public didn't have the benefit of a continuation, because if the
Right.
Tuesday meeting had been convened, we could have taken it up then, or we could have continued it without having to re-advertise it, because that meeting never happened. It's a confusion to the public, so the public needs the proper notice. So we have to re-advertise this as if we're starting from scratch.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Thank you. Counselor Bedanza,
6:35?
6:35.
All right, you've read the chair's recommendation. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of further time with a hearing date on February 23rd at 6:35, signify in usual manner. Those opposed? All right, 30-26.
This is Brandon Robbins and Susan Chalfo Zephyr, counselors at large, request that the mayor authorize the appropriate departments to research, develop, and participate in a contract or contracts to aggregate the electricity load of the residents and businesses in the city and for other related services independently or in joint action with other municipalities, and authorize the mayor to execute all documents necessary to accomplish same. I'm actually going to refer this over to Counselor Robbins, who is sitting in as the chair of the Ways and Means, to see if you have any input on this from the Ways and Means.
I don't need to read it again, right? Once was good?
Oh,
Okay.
Correct.
Good. The Ways and Means Subcommittee met last week on the same evening as the Legal Affairs Committee in a joint meeting, and it was decided that we would give this further time until we heard back from KP Law. I know since then, the mayor has sent a letter to the council. I don't know if the Legal Affairs Chair wants me to read it or if she would like to read it.
Yep, be my guest.
Thank you. Shouldn't have asked. This letter is dated January 27th, 2026, to the Leominster City Council. Dear members of the City Council, I'm writing to provide further clarification on the referral request from my office on petition 3026. This petition requests that the mayor authorize departments to research, develop, and participate in a contract or contracts to aggregate the electricity load of the residents' businesses in the city for other related services independently or in joint action with other municipalities, and authorize the mayor to execute all documents necessary to accomplish the same. Verbatim, this is the petition I filed with the City Council in 2023. Prior to filing the petition, city staff and I established a working group to review the issue and bring information to the Leominster City Council. Here is the timeline of the previous petition. January 23rd, 2023, petition first appeared on the council agenda and was referred to the Legal Affairs Committee. February 13th, 2023, Leominster City Council granted further time 9-0. February 27th, 2023, informational meeting was held before the City Council with the mayor, city staff, and Good Energy so questions could be asked and answered. Council recommended further time so a subcommittee meeting could be held. March 13th, 2023, further time granted. March 15th, 2023, subcommittee meeting held. March 27th, 2023, the Legal Affairs Committee voted to deny the petition, and Council voted 8-0 to deny. At the January 20th subcommittee meeting, it was stated that, quote, "It sounded like the mayor doesn't want to do this," end quote. As the original petitioner for this, that is not the case. In 2023, some members of the council brought up concerns about the program, and it ultimately resulted in a unanimous denial. Since that time, communities have had good and bad experiences with aggregation. I would encourage the council to look back at the information provided at the informational meeting and the council meeting in 2023, as well as reach out to organizations like the MMA and other communities to gather information on the success and challenges of this program prior to your vote. A primary reason for the denial of this petition by the council in 2023 was the concern over support by the public, particularly with the opt-out language. If this is still a concern, it is important to establish that before months of information is gathered. Have you surveyed your constituents to determine whether or not they are amenable to the program? All of us are concerned about rising energy costs and the impacts to our citizens. It is why every year my office works so hard to raise over $40,000 for the mayor's fuel fund. We also answer dozens of calls for assistance for fuel and work with agencies to help to get help for those families. I look forward to hearing the information gathered by the City Council. Thank you. Sincerely, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor. So seeing the letter and our subcommittee, I would suggest we give it further time until we hear from KP Law. And in the meantime, I would advocate for reaching out to someone at the MMA about an informational session.
And that was also your recommendation?
I
Madam Chair?
would, yes,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
grant this further time.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll do legal affairs first, on the recommendation for further time. All those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? All right. And now we'll do the Ways and Means recommendation of further time as well. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? All right, 7-0 on both. And again, thank you, Legal Affairs and Ways and Means, for your subcommittee participation as well. I think they worked well. Public Service Committee, 27-26, and this will go to Councilor Shalhoub Huzafa.
Yep. Petition 27-26, Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc. Request permissions to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the following public way. Pleasant Street, National Grid to install one jointly owned pole on Pleasant Street, beginning at a point approximately 10 feet east of the center line of the intersection of Lisa Drive and continuing approximately 10 feet in an easterly direction. National Grid is installing a push brace on pole 70 in order to remove an existing tree guide. Location approximately is shown on the plan attached. Also for permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the above or intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each of said petitioners may desire for districting purposes. This has been before the Public Service Committee. We had a public hearing scheduled on January 12th. We continued the public hearing to February 9th at 2026 at 6:30 p.m. So my recommendation at this time would be for further time, and I ask that you pull my committee.
Okay, and Councilor Robbins would be the third member.
I agree, and I'd just add that there is also a Public Service Committee, subcommittee scheduled before the February 9th meeting on this matter.
Okay, all right, perfect. You've heard the recommendation of the chair. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of further time to February 9th signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay. Any new business to come before us? I will just add real quickly, because I have gotten a few phone calls, and we have in the past, regarding the microphones and the ability of people to hear. I've gotten a lot of complaints from the public. I did talk to the executive director of LATV, thinking that it was not knowing where the problem was coming from. He said it was not their microphones, that they are our microphones. They're 20 years old, and he did say that he's had a conversation with the clerk, and it would be about $25,000 to replace the microphones, but he said they would be wireless and they'd last forever. And I think, I don't know if you're trying to put it into your budget, or we have to talk to the mayor about it, but.
That is way above what I can say to put in the budget. I did bring it to the comptroller. The comptroller, I gave her a copy of what he gave me, and she was gonna bring it to the mayor.
Okay, all right, so I will follow up on that.
And I did have that conversation with Scott as well, so he knows.
You know, there was also a question, not just being 20 years old, but I think he also felt that there might have been some damage with the flooding with some of the wiring as well. So, I mean, it's not good communication to the public when they're getting sporadic words out of a sentence or a paragraph. So hopefully we can get that corrected, and hopefully the mayor will support it for us. Old business, I just want to quickly, last weekend was the Mass Municipal Conference in Boston, the annual conference. And I want to commend 5 councilors that went this year. Councilor Cormier went, I know Vice President usually goes. Councilor Noseworthy went, Councilor Romero, Councilor Robbins, and myself. I've been in the leadership for this organization over 30 years, and I know the mayor has been involved with the Mayor's Association for a long time as well. And going through the trade show and just having a tag that says Leominster and having the amount of people comment on our staff and our employees here. Greg Chapdelaine got probably the most kudos that, you know, I've heard from people that work with them. And, you know, they've been around for 30 years, they've been employees forever, and all these vendors that, you know, are doing bid documents and looking at doing some of the business of the city. Can't say enough about the quality of employees that we have and the joy of working with the city of Leominster. So with that, I just wanted to give an opportunity to Councilor Romero and Councilor Robbins, if you wanted to just say, you know, just a quick synopsis of what you got out of it and, you know, how you felt about going to the workshops.
I'll just go really quickly. This
Yeah.
was my first year attending the conference, and I found it to be incredibly beneficial, caught up with people that I had met in the past, met new people from across the state. I really felt like it was a really beneficial experience. The 2 workshops that I attended, one on kind of strategic planning for cities and the other on just like federal updates for municipalities, both were incredibly informative. So I look forward to attending again.
Councilor
Yeah,
Romero?
the same here. It was a great experience, an opportunity to connect with other municipalities and also just kind of get ideas and just kind of get some thoughts in terms of things that they're working on and perhaps things we might be able to bring here to the city of Leominster, and opportunities to work collaboratively, but also just making connections, putting names to faces. It was really a great opportunity. So thank you for allowing us to be able to attend that. It was great.
And, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, councilors would spend 3 days of a weekend, you know, at a function, you know, to better prepare themselves as councilors. And it's, the workshops as well, we have Maya for insurance, which is part of the Mass Municipal. And some of these workshops that councilors have gone to also provide credits so that, you know, they're reported to the comptroller, and it reduces some of the costs on our insurance. So that's also a benefit to the city. So, all right, with that, I have a motion to adjourn. Well, that was right at the same time, both of you. Have a motion and a second. Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr, Councilor Robbins. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in usual manner. Thank you, everyone.